Hello.
Hello.
How are
Sorry.
you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Work's been busy because now we're headed towards the spring break next week, so I'm feeling the spring fever for the last maybe 2 weeks. How much longer to spring break? Do I have to Friday?
Amazing. I'm so excited for you. It'll do you have 1 week or 2 weeks?
1 week. I have all next week off. The
Okay.
week Friday to Sunday, April 5th.
Yeah.
I'm also off Monday because my
Right.
son is
Easter.
graduating. So I go back on
Oh,
Tuesday. Yeah, I'm not happy about
nice.
it, but I'm like, what do you want me to do about it?
I
But
mean,
I
it's
can't have gummy bears. I'm like, I have gummy bears for you. I have them.
you're so nice like that. You're so nice.
I know I try to kids can't have it. Or dogs can't have them. I do it for them. I eat it for them. Because it's so good. They're like, I'm like, trying to help.
I love it. Yeah. Well, you're
I
gonna have a
have to
great time.
ban. How have you been?
Oh, I've been great. I This month feels like it's been very busy because my husband has his birthday in March. So, and it was a big birthday. And so, we celebrated, his parents came to town and then it was my birthday and my mom came to town. So it's been a very busy month, but it's been like very fulfilling and really lovely.
That week, I'm looking forward to April, even though my spring break not in April, but my
Yeah.
sister will be coming in the visit from Hawaii with her husband and
Oh,
two boys. My
nice.
brother will also come in from Seattle. So my mom is all like, for my children together the last 3 years. That was the last time all about what together. I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
great. It'll
that's
be so much
that's so
fun.
special. That's going to be amazing. It's so important to get to spend that quality time together,
Okay.
and especially when you live so far away, which, that's how we are too. We just live far away from all of our families, so it's good.
Stephanie, I'm
It's
going to
important.
Hawaii in the summer. So I will see my sister at least twice. So I'm very
What
excited about that.
which island is she on?
Why? Why?
Okay.
Yeah, I was a little nervous because of whatever's going on with Hawaii. So I texted my sister. She goes, we're safe. But we're hosting two family friends of ours from the island.
Right.
So they're coming over. I was like, that's so terrible. But
It's
let me know if we
terrible.
could do anything. But I'm glad you're safe.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. That's a beautiful island too. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have a
I know.
blast. You're gonna have a blast.
Stephanie. Well, okay, Sydney Busby, thank you so much for coming back onto the KatChat
Of
podcast. I'm
course.
very happy to have you back and dive in for one hope card.
Yes, thanks for having me back. I'm excited to talk about the show.
Stephanie, so how did you get the role of Nora from season 2? How did you land that role of one hope
Mhm.
card?
Yeah, so I obviously, it's a show that had a first season years ago. And because of, world circumstances, it kind of kept getting delayed and then it just ended up moving on. And then the actors ended up moving on to different projects. Um, and then it got picked up by Great American Family and Great American Pure Flix, and they were hosting auditions for the new leads of the show. And I got an audition with my team. And at the time, I wasn't able to do the audition because I was like working and I was out of town and it just like was too much. And so I said, "Hey, unfortunately, like I can't audition for this, so like I'm gonna have to pass." And and then it came back around like 2 weeks later, or like maybe 3 weeks later, and they're like, "Hey, like they really want you to audition for this. Could you just put it on tape?" And I was like, "Absolutely, but can I do it like in the next few days?" Because again, I was very busy. And they were like, "Yeah, that works." So I was like, okay, awesome. And then I did it and I got a coaching for it. And I felt like interestingly very connected to Nora. Like I felt like her energy and just her perseverance in life and to be a woman of that era in 1920 at a time where, things weren't always easy, but she was someone who was just going to make it happen for herself. There's something about that I could just like really connect with. So anyway, I did the audition, I sent it off, and then found out, I think it was like maybe a week and a half later that I booked the part, which I was like, oh my gosh. Um, and to be the lead of a series has been something I have wanted for so long. And it's every actor's dream to be, on a series because it's just consistent work. It's also, you have more time to kind of navigate the character storylines and really dive deeper than you would in like a 2 hour movie, which those are really fun too, but this is like a different experience. And so to get to dive deep into this character and this world has just been like the greatest gift and the best journey so far. And yeah, that's kind of how it all happened. And then when we were just like figuring out my deal, I got a message from Christopher Russell who was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be so cool to work together again?" And I was like, yeah, it would be great. Like awesome. I mean, obviously, like I love working with you. Let's make that happen. He's like, no, like really soon. Wouldn't that be so great? And I was like, yeah, like why are you being weird right now? And then all of a sudden he's like, like real soon. And all of a sudden I was like, no, are you kidding me? And I just like almost fell on the ground. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So yeah, I mean, when you get to work with one of your favorite people and friends, it's just like, the best gift. So that has all like came together very, very amazingly.
Definitely. I mean, when I started Bait for season two, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what kind of story or what kind of dynamic happens in season two. I kept
Yeah.
watching season one and two again all over because I feel like there should be more seasons. I feel like I'm missing so much because everything's happening so fast. And I
Yes.
know sometimes when a character pops in later on to a new season, so how did you feel about that when Nora made the entrance in season two while season one was cast up or the connection or the relationship was it a challenge except for Chris Webster? Because I know you guys have worked together on a couple of Hallmark movies in the
Yeah.
past.
Yeah. Yeah. It certainly is a bit of a touchy thing, right? Because the loyalty for this show, the Hardys, the Hopefuls, it's so strong and they're so supportive and so loyal, and you want to do the character justice. So yeah, I was a little bit intimidated at first, just to be sure that people would enjoy Nora and kind of the passing of the torch of the Mounties and my character, and then, bringing in Hannah's character played by Sarah Fisher and Nick Bateman's character, Wyatt, who he plays Wyatt. And I feel like it was really well. I feel like we kind of did the character of Lillian justice, like the way we kind of wrapped up the initial leads of season one, the fact that we were able to bring them in when they're RJ and and Morgan, they're just like they're so such busy actors and they have their own shows now, and it's like it's so amazing and they have been so supportive. I got to work with Morgan and she was amazing, and there was never any like ill will or weird feeling. It was like, oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. Like it was so great to work together. And sometimes this is what's meant to be. And I'm just really grateful to be sitting in the seat that is Nora Anderson and getting to explore her characters. So I was a bit nervous at first, but I'm always nervous starting a new project, whether it's a Christmas movie, whether it's an adventure movie, whatever it is. I'm always like nervous, but it's really like an excitement. I want to do a great job. I want people to enjoy it. And I think all of that comes down to the incredible people that surround me on this show, and not just the actors, but the crew members as well. Like we just really lift each other up, and we're all so supportive and really like enjoy working together. And because we have a few new characters, as I mentioned, but all the supporting cast is the exact same as season one, which is really special. And they're all so incredibly talented and funny and like just like great people to hang out with. And all of them were just nothing but supportive and welcoming. And like that I think that just really speaks to like the community aspect of the show. We've really the stories are about community and connection, but that's also the real life scenario that we have is community and connection as actors and crew members as well. So yeah, I think it's been the best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed it. And then when I was reading the season two, I was reading in my mind that, okay, I remember this happened. I'm going into the end. And then when I got to the last episode, I was like, oh no, what's going to happen? I'm not,
I know.
not like full lawyer mode and trying to help with the orphanage and trying to help her needs. Lillian, while she's away, I was like, oh no, I hope not that they get in trouble. But if she's in trouble, then we can have Fletcher sweeping her out. You know, so out of the whole season two and going into season three that premieres on April 5th. What do you enjoy the most about Nora's story and
Mm.
background of her purpose of being on one hope card?
Yeah, I think Nora's journey's been really interesting because she initially comes to Brookfield to connect with these nieces that she never even knew she had. And, her family was estranged from her sister, so she didn't really have a relationship with her sister and her parents, everything was torn apart, and that really affected her as a person. And I think, there's a big reason for her wanting to go into law and making things right and serving and protecting people as a lawyer. And I think a lot of that has to do with her background, with her family. And so for her to go and connect with her family and then find herself in a scenario where she gets a new beginning and she gets to start over in a place where people welcome her. And Brookfield is a really special place where so many people are kind of like orphans in a way, where they've all come here and they've all been welcomed and they've all found each other and they all can lean on each other. And I think that really is important for Nora. And they immediately welcome her and make her a part of Brookfield. And so she doesn't want to compromise that because this is like the first time where she found a place where she could call home. And and of course she meets, Michael Fletcher, the Mountie, and she starts to kind of have a little bit of feelings for him. And she kind of hasn't really allowed herself to go there in her life. So, she's not in a relationship, she doesn't have children, and now she finds herself, having feelings for a guy and also taking care of children in this orphanage. And so she's finding an all new meaning to her life that I think she's always wanted, but never allowed herself to experience. So that's really special. And and that's also why going into season three is kind of a bit of, shaky waters because she may or may not be in trouble for, bribing a judge, which she didn't do, but people might think she did because of her mentor and what he did. And so now is that going to compromise her relationship with Mountie Michael? Is that gonna, compromise her relationship with the other people in town and then also her career? And I think what's really important about Nora is, this is 1920. A woman who is a lawyer was less than 1%. So you can understand how someone wouldn't want to lose that important role that she worked so hard to attain. Um, so season three is going to be a lot about Nora, getting comfortable as a maternal figure in the orphanage, exploring what her relationship is with Mountie Fletcher, and also, wanting to save her reputation and also perhaps confront her old mentor and boss who might come to town and try to save face.
Definitely. Now, how would they like to work with all these wonderful children on the show? I mean, when Nora comes in and she wants to show what to do, and over that she sleeps on the couch, and the kid is just standing over her. What do you like? To do my hair? So tell me about your experience working with kids in the cast and how Nora was able to develop some kind of connection or bond as season two goes along into season three, which we will find out in a couple of weeks.
Yep, that's right. Um, Yeah, I think, for myself as an actor, it's really important to connect with the children behind the camera
Mhm.
so that that can translate on camera. And it's so easy to connect with these kids. I mean, they're such a vibrant rainbow of energy and spark and talent and I mean, they're so funny and they're so different from each other, which I find so incredible. And being, I've worked with children before, like, one
Yeah,
or two kids at a time, but now I'm working with six kids at a time. And so that's like can be quite a lot of energy, on set. But what's interesting is because, parents always have to be on set as well because the kids are there. They have either parents or a representative. And but a lot of times they're not necessarily right on set. They'll be like, in another room sort of thing. And so I almost take on Cindy Busby takes on almost a maternal role as the kind of the chaperone for the kids and like keeping them making sure that they know what's going on and that we're having fun together, but we're also knowing when work is happening and when fun is happening and drawing those lines. um, but it's so easy to work with them. And I'm always so fascinated because kids are just living in the moment all the time, right? And like, they're just so expressive and genuine. And every take is completely different for them. And I love that. Like, I find I learn through them, which I love. Yeah, it's been a really amazing journey for me as Cindy and also for Nora, which I think kind of mirrors itself, which is amazing.
Stephanie. So when you found out you got the role of Nora, did you get any like background information? Because I know the TV show like way back in the 1920s, like we have one called The Hearth, and then now we have 1874, which is really off to a great start, and I'm very excited. And now then we have one hope called season three. So I know that one of the things very special for you, maybe a challenge, because it was back in the time, back in the 1920s when we really didn't have much technology. So how did you prepare for the war for Nora as the background information or what to expect with this kind of time piece?
Yeah, I obviously I used all the information that was given to me by the writers. And then, through the script, really breaking down like what I know about her history, and then just doing my own research about what was it like to be a lawyer back then, and what would that have meant to have been a
Excuse me for a
female?
second.
Yeah,
Excuse
of
me for a
course.
second.
Yeah.
Come over here. My goodness, my dog. Come over here.
Oh, oh,
Sit with me.
sweetheart.
Yeah, I have two dogs. One's over
Uh,
there, one's barking at people. And then
oh,
I
yeah.
will bark in the back over there because I live by a trail. I'm like, shh,
I'm trying to
I
do a
can't edit
podcast
the
here.
barking out of my podcast, but I can edit my king. But
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so, just using what was given to me through the writers, through the script, and then doing my own research, which is part of an actor's job, to really understand like what would it have been like to live in the 1920s? What would it have been like to be a lawyer, but also a female lawyer? And to also understand like where we were at, for women, it was a very different time, and not just for clothing and makeup, but just different etiquettes, different rules, so to speak. And so just even how you sit and how you hold a cup of tea, little things like that, where obviously I want to bring as much authenticity to the character, but then also bring my own flavor to it. Um, and even just posture and sitting and all of those things. And what really helped me was, I did all the work, but then showing up on set in the outfit with the set and the surrounding, props and things and the actors and seeing the world come alive with the carriage and horses. And, all of that was really easy to kind of like fall into once you're kind of there, which is really like special.
Yeah, I mean, I really like all these timeless TV series or movies because we can actually see what people go through on the way back and how they work really hard to make a
Yeah,
life with a little bit of money. So I find that really fascinating. And I feel like when I survive, if I go through the kind of time piece, I mean, I would really need a phone, to be honest. But
yeah,
why that but really fascinating. I'm still really exciting for the new season just to see where everybody's story goes.
totally.
Definitely. Now, Nora and Fletcher. I'm gonna have to tell you my favorite part, my favorite moment between the two of you is when he was sitting in the cafe for lunch or something. And Nora said, hurry up, you stop. I was like, what are you doing? And he dropped the napkin. I was like, oh my God, here
I
we
know.
go. So, when you found out that you're working with Christopher again, and eventually later in the season, or hopefully season three, we'll see something more. What would it like to work together again and act? Unsure. I don't know if I'm gonna like somebody this year, and I want to get to know to Fletcher through the season. What changed Nora? What made her open up? Okay, I'm gonna see where this goes.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, working with Chris is like I mentioned, like a dream come true. I just think he's such a talented actor and he's just a really good human being and we get along so well and I think he's hilarious and it's just easy and we have really great chemistry. And of course, the movies we've done together in the past were more modern than, this period piece. So, part of me certainly thought, like, what would that be like? Like, how would that translate for us? But I think, again, like having the costumes, having the world built around us, and our own work in developing the characters made it easy for us to find each other in that world, which was really cool. And but yeah, at the beginning of season two, these two characters kind of run into each other and they keep running into each other and they keep running into each other. And they're two people that are really good at their jobs and they're really good people, but they both have their hearts kind of like closed off.
Mm.
And I think with various scenarios they keep finding themselves, they're they chisel away at that calloused heart sort of thing, and they start to really open up together and they start to realize that they can feel safe with each other. Which I think is a really important part of opening up, right? Is to feel held and feel safe in someone's company, which is, and I think because they've had a lot of adventures together in season two, it makes the stakes even higher for the end of the season and the beginning of season three because there she's scared. She's scared that she might lose him because of this potential bribery allegation. And also, for Mountie Fletcher, he is stationed in Brookfield because he was injured and he's there maybe temporarily. So he's also scared to fall for someone because he doesn't know if he's going to be leaving or staying or what. And in a certain way, Nora also doesn't really know if she's staying or going. She's staying there now. Um, so I think they're a little bit trepidatious. However, they want to open up to each other. So, little by little they are. And at the end of the day, the audience wants to see them come together. But at the same time, you can't give the audience too much too fast because it's that slow burn sort of thing.
Definitely, you want to go really slow. You don't want to go from season two and then boom, season
Yeah.
three. And then boom, Nora found someone else to the point like kind of not like little bit local than Nathan thing. I don't want that to happen. So
I
who
get
knows?
it.
But are there any stories or any moments that you really enjoyed being on that with the castmates or anything that you want to share with from One Hope College?
Yeah, well, we have a new character who's in town for this season. The actor's name is Simon Arblaster. He plays Reverend Daniels, a wonderful actor who really brings a different energy to the storyline and potentially creates a challenge within the love circles that we have going on in Brookfield. So, that's a fun new dynamic in town. And also for Nora, just getting to confront her old boss and mentor because he comes to town wanting to clear his name. And so you're really going to get to see Nora in a different way where she really has to like analyze and try to recognize, is he telling the truth? Is he not? Um, does she still have what it takes to like, withstand this? And I personally, as Cindy, had some really juicy, really great scenes, really emotional stuff, and really challenging stuff, which I, as an actor, love to get to explore because it's nice to it's nice to have like fun times on set, but it's also nice to kind of play that like darker stuff. And we definitely have, I certainly got to have a lot of that this season, which was really nice.
So season three, I know you mentioned a little bit. So what should the audience expect from Nora during season three? Because at the end of season two, she got herself into a pickle. Whether
Yeah.
it's a legal pickle or not too bad. So what can you share of? Because she was a lawyer, she had a whole life before coming to Brookfield, and she found her need, and she was ready to go back. And then Nora was like, "No, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna help you." Then, unfortunately, Lillian had to go to America to visit her sister and leave Nora not really scrambling, but no, okay, I got this. And I think Nora did an outstanding job for season two and maintaining the orphanage with everybody's help and the king too until the last episode, which is the cliffhanger. And I'm like, okay, I need to think what could happen, or what would happen, and what would not happen.
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, Nora's, she's gonna, so end of season two, season three starts literally the next morning. So it's like there's no time cut in between. So that's really interesting. So the stakes are high at the beginning of the season, because there was a very big cliffhanger
I'm
at the end of
annoying my
season
dog.
two. There is another really big cliffhanger. Actually, there's about there's two massive cliffhangers at the end of season three. Again, sorry. But Nora goes on a beautiful journey of being unsure, and really fighting for what she knows is right and to clear her name. And also she is is really opening up and really finding her vulnerability and really getting grounded in her strengths. And her strengths are to be a mother figure to these children. And it's really opening up a side of her that, she never allowed herself to experience, which is really beautiful. And she's really bringing out all of the children's best assets because, they've gone through a lot. The children have been through so much. And so they're kind of unsure about their own space in the world, and they start to find their own confidence and their own uniqueness in the world because they feel loved by Nora, which and she in return feels loved by them, which is a really beautiful dynamic. And she's still exercising her law degree within the town. People kind of lean on her for that, and sometimes that can also, bring on some more challenging experiences because people want certain things from her that she can't just give away sort of thing. And there's certain ways to go about things. And yeah, so there's a lot of ups and downs and really great funny moments. And there's also an amazing episode that I'm so excited for everyone to see where all the women of Brookfield band together. It's a very like, female empowerment episode, which I loved. I loved getting to shoot. So that's a really, really great one that I'm excited for everyone to see.
That's weird. Well, I know sometimes the new TV shows sometimes come from a different city and out of unexpected, and sometimes they will build their route to feel like a season three, or potentially if they are renewed for season four. Will Nora be able to plant her route in Brookfield and maybe possibility of opening up a small practice since she's a lawyer and she could like they maintain the orphanage of Lillian return as well
Hmm.
as Betty a lawyer because of course Nora doesn't want her degree and all of her to work to be away. Oh, I'm not a lawyer anymore. I'm just focused
Yeah.
on the orphanage. But she could do both. There sometime down the road in season three or potentially season four that Nora will be able to build up a life in Brookfield when it comes to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's kind of on the road that she's headed on. She's really, like you said, planting her roots, and slowly seeing like, is this where I want to be? Are these people like welcoming me? And I think what's making her want to plant her roots is she is finally feels at home with these people and feels welcome and um, feels like she can really open up. And, again, I bring it coming back to like the safety thing where like sometimes when you just feel safe and held by the community, you become a better version of yourself. And I think that Brookfield is one of those places where people, it's such a strong community that people can't help but be connected to each other and people help each other out. And everyone wants to be a part of something like that, whether it's today in 2026 or, 1920. And I think that that's what's really special about Brookfield and the characters within it is we're all so different, but we all want the same thing, which is to, be supported, be loved, um, and just be there for one another. And I would love for Nora to have her own practice in town and to kind of be able to practice more law, but also balance the,
Mm.
orphanage world that she's a part of. And it, I don't want to lose any of the orphans, but it would be lovely to see maybe one or two of them get adopted or, something like that, or maybe someone new comes in. So there's so many incredible variables and yeah, the writers are so amazing on this show that I have no doubt that they'll come up with something amazing and again keep people on the edge of their seats all the time.
Definitely, definitely. I was like, because I watched it way back then, and then when I was about to talk about it, I had to go back and watch everything all over again to refresh my mind. And I
Yeah.
really love it. So I look forward to season three. So it's great. Now, wrapping up this whole one hope card, is there any plans or any projects that you are working on for what not for Hallmark that you can share or you can? What's it been?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm just really focused on premiering, obviously, When Hope Calls season 3 and sharing with everyone and doing all the publicity. And yeah, there's a lot of, irons in the fire right now for various opportunities and also wanting to dig deeper, beyond the acting that I've been doing, but also like producing and potentially directing and writing and that whole thing. So I'm definitely trying to kind of like acting is always my number one, but I really enjoy the behind the scenes. And so am working towards doing more of that. Obviously, none of that happens overnight. So and yeah, some more projects are kind of coming my way. And in the meantime, we'll just keep talking about When Hope Calls.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Sydney, if there's no other laugh, comment or thought you want to share with the viewers before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just really want to say that, this season is truly a labor of love. Every single actor and crew member, like, just worked so hard. And also, like, most importantly, worked hard, but had so much fun doing it. And there's never a day where I walk on set that I am just not so unbelievably grateful for this opportunity and to get to share these stories that I think we all need. We all want to feel hopeful. We all want to feel connected and feel that community now more than ever. And I definitely feel that with, the community that is the Hardys and the Hopefuls and the support that, we've received with the show. And I just want to thank, ultimately, my last words are I just want to thank everyone for the love and support of this show and of my career. And it's so amazingly important to me. And I'm just forever grateful that I get to live out this dream thanks to all of you.
So thank you so much, Denny
Thank
Busby, for coming out to
you.
the KatChat
Thank
podcast. For
you.
those of you out there, make sure to tune in to season 3 of One Hope Card on April 5th and find out what next for Nora and or what next for Nora and Fletcher during season 3. So thank you so much for watching us. Have a great night. Thank you, Denny, so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
A
Thank you,
wonderful
Peggy.
evening.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Kat. So great to see
Bye
you.
bye.
I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.